Today, I sat down with Yaron from UVeye to talk about the MRI for cars and how it's transforming the service lane. They got instant vehicle imaging. Now, this builds trust and it helps upsells, and it's driving higher RO tickets, increasing labor hours, and making that check-in a lot smoother, a lot more transparent. And you know what that means? Better CSI. Welcome to Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki, where inspiration meets action. This is your spot to grow, level up, and lead with fresh ideas. From sales to service, from frontline teams to executives, we're dropping weekly knowledge and insight to keep your store sharp, relevant, and profitable. Let's get into it. Well, welcome back, everybody. Listen, I really appreciate you guys showing up here. Always interested in learning something new, leveling up your game. You know, my focus in the dealerships has been all about ROs, upsells, CSI, getting appointments, having customers feel all the feels while they're in the dealership. And I oftentimes find it so much easier to set up sales, appointments, things of that nature when we're hunting. I'm always hunting for the evidence. Where are the facts that can lead to an obvious sale, appointment, whatever it may be? So I have had my eye on a company that not a lot of people will know about, but they are soon adopting at a very rapid pace right now. And you may have seen this, you may not, but I am very curious about the inception of the company. I'm very curious about the product, and you might have seen it online, LinkedIn, maybe. This is where I typically see their posts, but UVeye Technology. This is in the service department. What people say is this is the MRI for cars, and it's creating a lot of waves in how dealerships inspect cars. Now, I have Yaron. Hello, welcome to the show.
You said that perfect. Yes, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so you're in charge of the marketing. However, the exciting part about your story, and I want to hear more, is that there's two brothers. These are the founders, and you, all besties.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, have worked on this product and launching it and getting the adoption in the dealerships. Am I right?
You're right. I mean, originally the company was started by two brothers, Amir and Ohad, out of Israel. That's where we're from. And I mean, all of us have mainly background in startups. We're not from automotive, but around 2016, we actually thought about solving a very different challenge problem that you might think about, which is essentially replacing a guard that looks for bombs below vehicles when they enter a sensitive facility, right? When you go to an airport or seaport or embassy, sometimes you have border, exactly. You have someone looking with a mirror below cars.
Yes.
So we originally built some kind of scanner that you drive your car over it, takes thousands of images, high-res images of the underbody of the vehicles, and knows how to detect things that don't belong there, meaning bombs, contraband, drugs, smuggling, anything you could imagine, right? Any illicit material, anything that shouldn't be there. And very quickly, we understood that technology of looking at different areas of the vehicle and understanding the original texture, color, size of it versus what we're seeing, that kind of tech of deep learning, AI, computer vision. Today, everybody speaks about AI, but this was 2016, right? 2017. We understood very quickly that we've got something much bigger in our hands, and we started working with OEMs. And today, fast forward, we have 4 products that all sit together, almost like a tunnel, or we like to say an MRI, right? But a machine that you drive through, takes pictures below, around, tires, even inside the entire vehicle, and within seconds completely gives you a diagnosis of anything that could be wrong with the car.
Now, I really love this backstory, but I have to ask, where was the specific moment or that pain point that really sparked the transition into contacting an OEM?
So I think that there are two things. One, we started so the AI was learning. We pretty much took all the rental cars that are in Israel to drive over this machine. And instead of bombs, this algorithm was picking up falsely oil leaks. Okay, so instead of getting bombs, we started getting leaks. So that was one aha moment where we said, okay, there's much more leaks than bombs probably. So there could be more things to look at from the mechanical perspective. And second is we just, we started going to different trade shows, and the OEMs sent their innovation teams, and they saw us and said, hey, if you are so sophisticated that you can look below a car and find the hidden contraband, will you be able to look at it in our plant and maybe find the missing screw, or something that's broken, or something that, or even later on gaps and flashes in the doors, or things like that. So it kind of evolved towards that direction pretty naturally.
I can imagine that the way that the company started, underbody,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's emerged into like the full car,
Mm-hmm.
pinpointing all sorts of things, from oil leaks to alignments
Mm-hmm.
to fuel pump
Mm-hmm.
challenges. I'm sure that you are able to look. I've seen some of these pictures. So as soon as the thing rolls over, all these photos come up on the screen, allowing the advisor to really show the customer the facts, what's really going on. But I have to ask you, how did it become? Was it the manufacturers that helped you build this product, where you're doing underbody and they're saying, "Hey, what if it could do this?" Because I can listen. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this product, but it's actually. Okay, that's slightly aggressive, but I would say it's very futuristic. This is it's a black tunnel. It's got boxes to the sides. It looks very professional, looks very organized. It looks like
Yeah.
something that you would look and be like, that's legit. I don't know what that is. It looked like a little robot. But I can imagine this thing has emerged and evolved over time from what it originally looked like. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering, somebody had to take a chance on you guys.
Yeah.
It sounds like maybe the manufacturers. So, and I've seen it now, and I hear what you're saying, and I'm like, wait a second. What were some of those early challenges maybe in getting somebody to take that chance on you that maybe helped you build a more robust product?
So what you said is exactly that. I mean, the manufacturers, Volvo, Toyota, that I can mention, but later on General Motors, came to us and said, you've got this great technology. You're using AI to look at vehicles, whether it's for the service lane, whether it's for the variable side, whether it's for reducing warranty claims, whether it's for bigger data. There's a ton of use cases, but essentially everybody wants the same thing. They want to look at a vehicle very quickly and understand what's wrong with it, and then get smarter decisions according to data. And when they saw that we could do that, starting from the underbody, they basically came and said to us, could you look at tires? We said, yeah, okay. Could you look not only at the sidewall, but also at the tread area? Could you look around? Could you look at glass damage? Could you look at the bumper damage, whatever? So the more they fed us, the OEMs that we were in touch with, we kept developing our products. And around, I would say 2021, 2020, we started actually piloting with quite a bunch of dealers, and then it got really first fixed ops heavy, and today also all of the dealerships. Today we kind of service all of the different departments with this kind of technology.
What do you mean, for like recon?
So the UVeye system, right? You said like a tunnel. I like to say it turns the service lane into an Apple store. Okay, it sits there. Every customer has a traffic light sign. You're about to be scanned. Drive-throughs. There's lights around you. You drive through it. You get out of your car. 30 seconds later, whether it's on your phone or on a big screen or by the advisor desk, you have kind of a full condition, high resolution picture of your car. Most people have never seen their car this way before. It jumps from the tires to the underbody to around, and it flags.
It
Different
highlights
things.
every aspect in its
Exactly.
own section.
In its own section. You mentioned things like from the tires, alignment issues, cuts, scuffs, bulges on the sidewall, rim damages. Okay, so a lot of the service departments that are using us, for example, are really reducing policy claims, whether it's door damage or rim damage. Or if you damage my door, you damage my rim. That pretty much eliminates when you have this kind of technology. Nails or foreign objects in the tire, the DOT. I don't know if you knew, but over 15% of tires in the States are over 5 years old. Nobody gets their needs. I've not seen many advisors check the date code of the week and year. We do that for them. So, and over
So
two
no
tires.
need for pressure gauges anymore.
So it's all exactly. It's once you drive through, you've got it all in front of you, and it tells you already what the issue might be with
see.
a visual representation for the customer.
So what are the main op codes that you're going to identify?
So in terms of the types of issues, you mean we're going
Mm-hmm.
to
I mean, is this like major engine
yeah,
problems
anything
that you could
visual.
identify?
Yeah,
Okay.
anything
Yeah. So
visual. It
like
has
what's
to
its
be
limit?
visual.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on the mostly the exterior of the car, not necessarily the interior of the car.
So we also have an interior scanner that gives you 360 inside. If it's engine issues, we're now working on being able with thermal sensors to look at the brake pads, okay, if they're heated or not. We
Mm-hmm.
we are looking at other things like to analyze sound as well. But for
Mm-hmm.
now, once you drive through, it
Mm-hmm.
takes images of the underbody. It shows you different leaks, different broken areas or broken parts.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that comes from the engine outside, those kind of issues or missing parts as well. And then for the tires, as I mentioned, it's visual things that
Mm-hmm.
essentially what we do is instead of putting a vehicle on a lift and doing a full
Oh yeah.
multi-point inspection for 20-30 minutes, you have it
I could sell
immediately.
boom right here on the drive.
Exactly.
No waiting for approvals. The evidence is
So
here.
uh, it's a very different conversation also with a customer, right? That gets out of the car and before the ride up is
Mm-hmm.
presented almost like a triage moment of their car of what could be
Right.
wrong, and it also saves the technician time down the line because he knows where to look at and where to go to rather than waste their time on doing an inspection.
Yeah. And this isn't like a diagnostic. This doesn't really replace the diagnostic machine.
So we can connect to the OBD, we can do different things. We don't aspire to replace people. At the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, you still need an advisor. It's like a doctor. They go over the scan with you. You
Well, it's
still
not
need a
spitting
technician.
out op codes.
No, it's not. We do integrate with some DMSs, and if there is an opt code, obviously we can, we can integrate with that. But it's basically, yeah, it's a consultative tool that gives you a
I
visual
got you.
experience to
Mm-hmm.
have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
I gotta ask you because I can just imagine. I'm a customer. Listen, the dealership I've been to for 10 years, they do not have this. And I roll up. How do customers react to this when they first see it?
I mean, we've seen amazing reactions. I think that the transparency element of people never seeing their car this way before, and
Mm-hmm.
used to leaving the dealership, getting a phone call after, maybe getting a video multi-point
Right.
inspection and saying, "Oh, here's your car." 4 hours later, we diagnose this, or just being explained. Versus on the drive, it's their
Boom.
car.
Right now.
They see it. It's a machine, so they
And
trust
report
it.
card.
Exactly. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the transparency, I mean, we're seeing that dealerships that use UVeye, their net promoter score goes between 5 to 13 points, right? You mentioned CSI. So they buy more because we find more issues, but they're actually happier to buy more because they feel they can trust it and it's shown to them rather than being told.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because a lot of people are already not exactly thrilled to be in the service department. They know it's going to cost them time and money. And here we're showing them a state of the art technology. We're showing them facts. Nobody even has to say a word. It's pretty self explanatory. And it's kind of, well, it squashes where people are skeptics of a advisor, a dealership team member telling them the truth. A lot of times we've always relied on the videos. The videos are money because I tell technicians this all the time. You realize how important you are in this sales equation. The customer is going to trust you and your word more so than any service advisor. And
Mm-hmm.
so in this case, it's just at a 10x level here,
Mm-hmm.
where, the photos say it all. I mean, it's
100%.
yeah, and it's
100%.
super
So
clear.
yeah, so it changes the welcome experience, right?
There you go.
It kind of adds the capability to add consistent kind of more types of issues, right? Things that I mentioned, the DOT of the tire, the
Mm-hmm.
expiry,
Mm-hmm.
alignments based on toe we're adding now, and on tread patterns, uh,
Yeah.
uh, even little cuts on the sidewall, rim
Yep.
damage. We have really progressive dealers that are offering wheel restoration,
Mm-hmm.
offering paintless dent repairs on the drive
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
the person comes
Yep.
through. They're working with the advisors to make it also incentivized for them. So it opens all of those revenues. And I'm not even talking about, loaners and PDI and merchandising capabilities we're adding now and appraisals you want to run through it. So the bread and butter is just really upgrading the
Mm-hmm.
check-in
Mm-hmm.
customer experience in that conversation.
Yeah, and listen, this is where our relationships are formed. This is the point of sale where we get an opportunity to build the confidence and the trust of the consumer. Because listen, we haven't even done the report yet. You know, we are seeing early things that we could gain approvals on right now, and we have the proof to have that conversation with the customer. Now, a lot of times the shops get very busy, and there's inconsistencies in the advisors even doing a quality walk around. Sometimes they just got to get that customer in and out. They're 4 deep. They got a lot of sets of eyes on them. They're getting stressed. You know, they skip steps. We don't crouch down. We don't, measure every tire to show the customer. And tires, well, we all know that if we can sell tires, we have a higher opportunity of having that customer retained. And, well, you've now got something that helps that not only increase the likability, the credibility, the level of trust with the advisor at right now, but we're able to actually be more consistent in being able to show customers what's going on with their car. And then it makes it, in my opinion, because, you know, again, I focus on that customer experience, and I want to have a quality conversation with the customers, you know, on the drive. I also don't want to hold up my approvals and extend this thing longer than necessary when there's certain things that I can get approvals on right now. For example, restoration. Now, a lot of people won't even look at the rims and say, hey, we do restoration here. I'll get you a quote for that. That's why I always train them on. But now I have a system that's already setting it up for me and helping me be consistent in my job. Well, you know, things are changing and evolving, and the technology that's out there, well, that's my job, listeners, is to make sure that you get a chance to hear what is emerging out there. I want to help the advisors increase their income potential. I want to see the bottom line in the dealership. So if I see something that's emerging and changing this experience for customers, think about this. You're calling the customer. Do you think they're going to feel more credible and trusted towards your advisors when we've already had the best setup possible when they checked in and dropped off their car? Now we're going to have the technician video go out, which further solidifies a great experience and the transparency, the cred, all of that stuff intact. I mean, we are literally slaying this service game right now. Now I'm going to call the customer, and they're already feeling good about us because we've used the tools to allow that customer to make their own conclusion. And anyways, I got to ask you something. Those dealers that when they first started seeing this product, how did they react when they saw this thing work? And I imagine that, you know, going from human eye to AI scans really isn't an easy leap for most people. I mean, look, you and I both are like, it's obvious. It's the obvious choice. But for people to make like hard jumps and try something new, maybe you could share a story about maybe something surprising or even some skepticism that you've seen from dealers and that turnaround from them just buying into something like this.
So I'll start from the end and then I'll go to a story. The bottom line today is that we're seeing dealers raise their ROs by $55 to $75 per RO, okay, when you use UVeye.
Okay, so like, is that one extra line item?
So that is, it depends. It could be more. It really depends on what we find. It depends on how they use it. But the gross definitely goes up. Labor goes, everything goes up, right? So but that ties back to process, because you know one of the things that we, I would say, found the hard way is that at the end of the day, it's not about how sexy the AI is or how good the tool is. It's really about adoption and how easy it is for people to use it, right?
That's so real.
So I think that what we understood with time is that we got to have the right integrations in place. And that's something. This year is a year of integrations for us. We're now, we're integrated into Techion, Reynolds, My Karma. I can give you a lot of names, and working with Dealer Tire, a lot of other services that really enhance this. But even without integrations, I think that the visual element is just so strong that if you make sure you show the scan consistently to every single advisor, every advisor to every customer, you will see an uplift. But I want to go back to a story that you asked me from the beginning. So when we piloted the machines around, say, 3.5, 4 years ago, our first pilot dealers were around Ohio. Okay, and we were sitting in Israel. We worked with some folks in Ohio. They helped us install it to some pilot dealers. And nobody told us that Ohio rains like 90% of the year. So, you talked about kind of entrepreneurship and evolving the product. The tread depth reader was working really well, but it wasn't really reading well with rain, when the tire treads were actually
Okay.
wet.
Right.
So until we started working with dealers and tried to convince them and show them the ROI and show them the benefits and how much the conversation gets easier, obviously the tread wasn't really reading accurately because of water, right? So it took us a few months to really perfect that. And now we clean snow, dirt, mud, whatever it is. The scan is over 95% accuracy.
Wow.
But that was a story, a little bit of cat and mouse, of us trying to all the time make sure it works in the rain and then gain the trust, gain the adoption. Very different place now, but that was a bit of story at the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's very real. And I think that a lot of times most people look at a product and they expect it to work flawlessly. And I very consistently preach this message. Anything that has to do with AI is a work in progress. And it's not the final product, ever. And the technology continues to evolve and poke its hat out in new ways. And now everybody has to adapt and make modifications. And then we see that it has more capabilities. So we got to adapt and we got to make changes. And the products can have setbacks and they can emerge very fast and they can have big setbacks because, listen, everything is moving at light speed. And so I feel you on that pain point, which is, look, our product looks like it's working in the majority of stores we go into. Oh, wait a minute. Now there's the elements that are interfering.
Yeah.
Surely you've had to encounter a lot more of these sort of things, but the dealers continue to help you build a better product. And without usage and feedback, how do we continue to let these company leaders out there that are helping us have more efficiency in our businesses learn and grow themselves?
So I think that you mentioned the OEMs at the beginning. Now you're talking about dealers, as I would say, a source of making it better. I mean, we even have a feedback loop in the system. Every detection we find, if it's a low tread or a leak or a scratch, you're able to thumbs up, thumbs down. That helps us get the AI smarter all the time. So we really relied on that relationship with our dealers.
Like that.
And also the strategic element, the dealers tell us which integrations they want. The dealers work with us. If you talked about AI, by the way, I have a little scoop here, but that's something that we're going to roll out this year. Is with Gen AI, we're now able to create 0-day merchandising. So imagine a full cycle of a service customer coming through the door, driving through the machine, getting scanned, getting out, full inspection service report is waiting, telling all the condition of the different elements, tires, underbody, and exterior of the vehicle. On that instant, we also have an appraisal report. If it's a specific model or year that the used car VIP team wants, they get a text that that vehicle is on the drive. They can go make an offer on it with the estimates that we have for the recon cost. So we can tell the customer your car might be worth X immediately, 30 seconds after, minus the recon cost. And now we're adding another element that it had for the trade, plus the merchandising side. So if the vehicle wants to, the dealership wants to acquire the vehicle, they have already the capabilities of a photo booth, 21 to 30 photos, ready, cleaned up, all by AI, of that supposedly closest match vehicle, of how it would look like when it's reconned, to put on their website instead of coming soon photos.
Yeah, okay, I see. Okay. This is the thing. It's the doors just start swinging open. And I immediately could see, it's not just, listen, customers always want more money for their trade. I see this every day in our sales department, and they don't trust us. And then you have a lot of customers today that they want to get a ballpark, sight unseen before they make a decision to come in. And so we take their photos and we're trying to, rely on our reporting and vehicle history and all of these things to put together a range.
Yeah.
In this case, when the customer comes in, roll through the thing, boom, 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 it's such a case. It's what we have actually been missing for all these years when we're trying to convince customers of the true value. Now I have my market data. I can tell how many cars are in the market that are going to help me, make this case. And you have to be incredibly transparent with customers today. They've already did their homework. They already have an idea, but some of them are hallucinating still. But here we do. We just plug in our little UVeye system, and then it's allowing that customer to really get the facts and it's
Mhm.
hard to dispute.
Yeah.
I really love this for the sales process.
Yeah, and think about other things. I don't want to overcomplicate, but if you get equity data, equity mining data, and you understand that the equity situation or the end of lease or whatever it is, that service advisor could by themselves switch them to sales, on the spot, just by understanding that element plus the vehicle condition or the potential recon cost of all the elements that we find,
Hmm.
and then just hands them over to sales, right?
That's
So.
going to require a bit of a sales process
Mhm.
there, but I like where you're headed. I think everybody's trying to figure out the best way to handle service to sales. Of
Yeah.
course, this is another tool that can help bridge that gap.
Mhm.
But so let me ask you something. Just speaking of process, because that requires people that you
Yeah.
can have. You can give the people all the tools in the world, But it's like if you don't have a process for it, or there's incentive and accountability, it's gone. It
Yeah.
doesn't even exist. And so,
Mhm.
in thinking about the adoption rate with this particular product, what kind of processes have to be? Look, you said it yourself. If the advisors don't show it to the customer, we got nothing.
Mhm.
That's a process. So,
Mhm.
is there anything else in here that is important for the dealer to be successful? What makes it? You can't just have a machine and it's just going to do all the work for them. So how does that look like for an advanced service advisor, somebody who's squeezing every lemon, who's never leaving anything on the table? What do they have to learn?
So, I mean, first of all, you're right. In order to make use of the data or the visuals or the pictures of that vehicle, you got to show it, right? You're not gonna
Right.
if it's gonna just be some shiny equipment with great photos on the cloud and no one sees it, it's not gonna help. So we have quite a good, I would say, a great customer success team. We have a really good process in terms of onboarding. So we come to install the system. It typically takes us, we install at night or not to disturb the flow too much, around
Okay.
2 days to calibrate and install and have the machinery in place. And then we come for a couple of days with our team. They have
Mm-hmm.
some remote quizzes and different folks that we don't have any kind of limitation on the amount of users. So we just
Mm-hmm.
make sure that all the different departments get access and their own screens. And then we come in and we just make sure that per kind of persona, they go through the training. We measure the engagement. We have different dashboards remotely that we can kind of see which advisors are not opening scans at all, which missed
Uh-huh.
opportunities were not shown.
Mm-hmm.
What's the open rate? What's the open rate within 30 minutes? Which
Mm-hmm.
advisor names or users' credentials are sharing scans with the customers? If you plug an integration like a My Karma into place or like a
Mm-hmm.
Techion,
Mm-hmm.
those shoot text automatically. So as Jen Suzuki is driving through the drive and she is on the other end of the machine, she gets a text saying, "Hi, Jen, welcome to Alpine Buick GMC. You've just been scanned. Here is a link to your safety report. Click." So you have
I've
it
gotten
already on your
this.
phone. So if you've gotten that, that by open rate puts it in front of everybody's eyes. That
That's
with
right.
screens, with
Mm-hmm.
us obviously training, and hey, at the end of the day, most people understand this is an enabler for them. This
Yeah.
helps the advisor sell more tires, more
Mm-hmm.
alignments. The
Mm-hmm.
porters, it helps cover them in terms of policy damage.
Damage. Mm-hmm.
Used car managers, it helps them in terms of getting a
Buying
correct
cars.
appraisal. And so,
Mm-hmm.
each
Yeah.
one persona needs to understand how it helps them. Once they
Mm-hmm.
understand it and they get
Mm-hmm.
the tools to use it, and it's in front of everybody's faces with touchscreen, with these integrations, there's no
Mm-hmm.
reason they won't use it.
So then I have to ask the question. This is going to be one of my last questions here.
Mhm.
I'm an advisor. I do exactly what you show me. The store just invested in me with this tool. How much more money should I expect to make this year? What do you see for best case and an average and like the lowest case scenario? I'm looking for a raise, okay, my friend?
So it really depends on I mean, I don't want to say something that will sound too high for some dealer or sound too low, but it's
Just give us
really
averages. What do you typically
so.
see?
So what we see is that there's different incentive programs that I would say the more progressive dealers put into place of
Mm,
how much you will get spiffed per tire sold, per alignment sold, per paintless dent repair sold. We've got dealers that are buying in-house wheel restoration machines and are spiffing off that. So I would just tie it to the pay plan and
mm,
give you some kind of I would want to say a significant incentive for each of these elements. That's on
mm.
that side.
You gave us an increase in RO, so I guess we have to do the math.
Yes. So you can do the math.
So do you see an increase in tire sales? I mean, tell me what you're seeing, because I want this thing to pay off for me. I'm an advisor. I want to know what I'm getting into. And it's not just the incentives, because the dealers don't always incentivize. They just expect you to do your job.
Yeah, so we're seeing over 100% increase both on tires and on alignment sales. So that's more than doubling what most dealers have done before in that respect.
Okay.
Again, if most dealers or a lot don't have probably paintless dent and wheel restoration in house, or if they do, it's very minor. So that's a whole new. That's not 100%. That's thousands of percentages over, because they didn't do it before, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can't. I mean, that's. Look, we all know when we see the evidence that the numbers go up, and it's incredible to hear those sort of numbers. When does a dealer get their money back? First year?
You know what? It really depends on the volume and the brand, but a lot of our dealers get it within a month or two.
A month or two, they get their money back?
Yeah, because especially if you don't have a process around claims, we kind of eliminate between 70 to 80% of customer claims on policy. So, you damage my door, you damage my rim. I mean, if you go to a BMW store and you wheel is $2,000, right? So if I help them catch 3 or 4 rims and doors that were claimed to be damaged and they were not, that is pretty much the system cost. It's a monthly subscription that's quite digestible, and covering that usually happens with not a lot of occurrences like that.
Yaron, you've given us a lot here today, and I really appreciate your time and just sharing the backstory and the execution of this. It's exciting. I love AI. I love new products. I love technology. Maybe you have some advice out there for other entrepreneurs that are getting into this, not your exact space, but getting into really just unleashing something that's hot and new, and it's a risk, because you don't know if people are going. It could be the greatest thing that you think, and then the people don't think it's so great, and then you just got to fail. And so do you have any words of wisdom, advice for entrepreneurs out there that are trying to break into technology, try something totally new, especially in dealerships, and that culture that so often can be so resistant to change?
Yeah. So I think, what you said at the end sums it all. There is resistance to change. So if it's not going to be very hard, it's probably not right. So whoever tries something should expect pushback, should expect a lot of skepticism.
It's part of the process.
It's totally part of the process. If it's not, there's the problem, because you're trying to disrupt something. You're trying to do something that's been done in a certain way. People tend to do the same thing and get into their comfort zones. So at least from our perspective, there is a learning curve, and at the beginning it's hard. But if you are your emotional intelligence is high enough to find the right advocates for you, to find the right people to work with, the dealers we have met are some of the most talented people I've ever seen in the world. Like leaderships and dealers and the ecosystem here are incredible people, really, really incredible, really energetic, really switched on. And you just got to find a few of those that get it, like you get it, and that's it, right? And then once you see those stories, it's about replicating it. So it will be hard. Brace up, and when you find the right partners, it just gets easier. So yeah.
Excellent advice.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And my best to you and your besties who put this whole thing together. I wish you guys the best 2025 possible. I know you're working hard.
Much. Yes, we're trying, and I'm inviting anyone to come and see a UVeye system at a dealership near them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. Don't forget, my weekly live classes are designed to keep your team fired up, skilled up, and focused on results. Subscribe right now at edealersolutions.com.